Disney is back at it again with yet another live-action remake. This time they will tackle Lilo and Stitch. Over the last couple of years, Disney has been hard at work taking animated classics and putting a real live spin to them. Rather, I should say that they put a CGI spin on it. The reactions to these live-action spin-offs have been split down the middle for the most part. Movies like The Lion King and Aladdin have been massive box office successes for the studios. However, some remakes have also been riddled with controversy. A bit more on that later though. While it is easy to criticize Disney for remaking all of its movies, it is easy to understand why they are deciding to do this. These movies are making billions at the box office. They already have a massive audience built in, and thus the financial risk is also smaller. Now, if you are a longtime Disney fan, it is definitely understandable why you might be a little bit upset. Personally, I cannot remember the last time Disney actually came out with a new original IP. It feels like they no longer want to take the risk of making something new. So, instead, they are just banking on these old classics to carry them forward. In many cases, they are not even old classics. Disney just announced that they will be making a live-action Moana movie as well. It is only a matter of time until other newer titles like Frozen get a remake as well. We are living in the era of remakes, and Disney is set to milk this new wave dry. When it comes to this all-new Lilo and Stitch remake, the reactions have been very interesting to observe. The movie follows a Hawaii girl, Lilo, who finds a dog-like creature called Stitch. Together they form a strong bond as they set out on an adventure, fighting all sorts of different aliens and monsters. For the live-action cast, Mea Kiloha will be playing Lilo while Sydney Agudong will be playing Nani, the sister of Lilo. It is with the casting of the sister where most of the controversy is coming from. Sydney, who is a native-born Hawaiian, is being blasted by online critics for not being dark enough. Disney is being called out for blatant colorism, with many saying that Sydney's skin is too light. Now, if you think that this is hypocritical, you would be correct. Over the last couple of years, race swapping has been a massive topic of discussion. Disney has decided to recast the race of many leading characters. Both Little Mermaid and Snow White have decided to change the race of the leading people. In all of these cases, online critics have been very quick to call out anyone as racist for even thinking about questioning this. All of them make the same argument. Why do you care about the race of a fictional character? It should not matter. Now, I actually agree with this. It should not matter. However, it is clear that these same online critics don't actually believe in their own words. If you have been defending Disney's casting choices over the last couple of years, you don't now get to make any statements about the race of someone. The statement of color should not matter goes both ways. Now, to be completely fair, some points I do understand. Many are arguing that this is not the same as Snow White or the Little Mermaid. Many argue that there is not any ethnicity or actual race attached to any of these fictional characters. However, with Nani and Lilo, there is actually ethnicity attached to them. They are dark-skinned native Hawaiian. It is the same reason why you can argue for a black Spider-Man but not a white Black Panther. He is a native African, and therefore it is not the same. This is an argument that I personally actually agree with. However, the people making these arguments do not keep that same energy when talking about European characters. Thus, as far as I am concerned, they are all just a bunch of hypocrites who do not follow their own logic. They will pander online and then ignore everything when the roles are reversed. However, with all of this, it is also worth pointing out that the Lilo and Stitch hypocrisy argument goes both ways. If you are a fan who has been blasting Disney over the last few years and have been against race swapping, you don't now get to celebrate this. I see so many people who I know for a fact went crazy when Disney cast a woman of color as the Little Mermaid. They went out of their way to call the movie a woke disaster. You don't get to make the argument that characters need to stay true to the original writings and then also celebrate a lighter-skinned Hawaiian being cast as someone who was definitely darker-skinned in the original work. Now, I will admit that even I have covered this topic before. You don't need to search very far to find my woke disaster videos. Although I did cover this topic many times before and even made some outrage bait titles, I feel like my argument have always been consistent. Race swapping does not bother me. As long as the story is good, it does not matter. However, I have also been open about the fact that it is my own personal opinion, one that people are free to disagree with, and I know that many do. I also push back against anyone who calls you a racist for not liking the concept of race swapping. You cannot like race swapping and also not be a racist, no matter what a bunch of internet weirdo journalists on Twitter tell you. However, if you are against race swapping, make sure that your hypocrisy is not showing. Those who have spoken out about this issue in the past need to be consistent. I don't want to hear that this actress is a native Hawaiian when we both know that the original was definitely much darker skinned. Overall, I will say what I have been saying all along. The issue of race swapping is complicated. If we ignore the few internet losers who actually are racist, in between that are actually valid arguments to be made from both sides. However, I do not play both sides. I am very much in favor of race swapping. It does not matter what color the characters are. I just want a good story that makes me forget about my bad day. I think that it is important for us to remember that the original work will always be there. As a person in his late 20s, I will leave it to the new generation to decide what they want their Disney princesses to look like. Whoever they choose, I will respect them as the movies are not meant for me anyways. If a young little black girl can find joy in a mermaid or princess that looks like her, then I am in full support. Personally, I grew up on all of these movies. I will always have the memories of the original work and no one will ever take that away from me. Whenever I want to watch these movies, I will simply go back and watch those classics. One day, this new generation will have to do the same for those who come after them. As always though, this is just one person's opinion and you are welcome to disagree.